Serotonin depressions are much more complicated. They're inherited. You used to say, well, you sleep too much, you eat too much, and you're irritable, kind of like a hibernating bear. You know, the serotonin drugs started with Prozac, Lexapro, Paxil, Zoloft, and the SNRIs are drugs that are both norepinephrine and serotonin. That's Cymbalta, Surzone, Pristiq. Now there's Fetzima. Now the serotonin subtypes, there are three main groups. There's a physiological group. That's bad winters and bad periods. Now you could talk till you're blue in the face. It's never going to change these things. If you move to Florida, or a little further south, and where there's sunshine, you won't have the seasonal one. And the female hormonal one changes over years, but it's these things, if you take medicine, they go away. If you don't take medicine, they don't go away. Thinking patterns, this is socially phobic and obsessive. These are very interesting. They are a reflex hyperarousal. You know, social anxiety, it comes from when we lived in tribes, and anybody you met who wasn't from your tribe was likely to want to rape your wife or kill you. So it wasn't a bad idea to be nervous about it. But in some of us, it just hasn't gone away so easily. And this idea of a sticky thinking, that you feel you don't have control of your thoughts. In these situations, you can take medicines for a while, and then there are therapies that can teach you to think differently, kind of meditation-based cognitive therapies. And then you can often stop taking the medicine if that's the only type of serotonin problem you have. Then there's a more profound kind of sadness. People who are crying all the time, who are racked with despairing thoughts, with suicidal thoughts. And sometimes that is a serotonin-type depression. Sometimes it's also a bipolar depression. That's some of the most difficult cases. That's a situation where I think medicine is also indicated. What I'm really trying to get to is that depression's like a car with four wheels. If any of them are not inflated properly, you're not going to feel well. And ADD is something that you can't really compensate for it very well if you're suffering from a depression that also saps your concentration to begin with. So it's pretty important in my mind that any person who's going to be treated for attentional problems with stimulants should first be examined for the presence of the two acquired depressions and for the presence of the two inherited depressions. Now, the second one is bipolar, a very interesting group of depressions that can be very debilitating or very mild. They are different in that the time framing can be different. They can be racing thoughts that have a very narrow focus. They can often respond badly to stimulants or antidepressants. There's only a very small percentage have actual manic symptoms. They really come in three big clusters again. There's the hypomanic cluster: euphoria, irritability, and disorganized thinking. And really, the irritability and disorganized thinking are subtler, and they can be present in somebody for quite a while and not be obvious. They're the habit ones: food, sex, money, drugs, and gambling. And then there are moods: anger, fear, anxiety, sadness, doubt, shame, guilt, fatigue, despair, suicide. Sometimes that dark, despairing negativity, pessimism can be either the bipolar or the serotonin, and people can have both. The important things to remember is that these inherited depressions often lead to the superimposition of the acquired depressions. That is, if a person has serotonin depression and they're socially phobic and obsessive and they don't socialize, well, then that's going to contribute, especially if they have ADD, to the coming on of the norepinephrine depressions, the stress depressions, or the dopamine pleasure depressions.